Came from the pain and made it out of Banner. Drove and see the nightlife where they call Atlanta. Southside shows for a couple dollars, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
We're here, late as usual, very on brand for the show. Look at that fucking slide in. That was gorgeous. Here he is, the titular name in this segment on the podcast. It is Maloney's Money Line, the season 2 premiere on the Brew Party podcast. This is technically episode 74 of the Brew Party podcast, but it's our special gambling segment with our favorite guest. It's Ryan Maloney. Ryan, it is so good to see that beautiful face again. Oh, my God. How are you? How have you been? And how much have you missed me?
Oh, my God. I'm back, baby. It's been great. I'm doing great. Healthy. It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm so glad to be back. I miss that face as well.
Very, very glad to have you back, sir. Like I said, we are late. As usual, pretty on brand for season 2 of the show. Maloney's Money Line back. We are going to be talking week 1 NFL. We have 16 total picks. We have 6 total prop bets for you starting here in a couple minutes. Before we do, we want to get you updated on, what kind of went on. I guess not really while we were gone, but like what happened the last time we were here. So Ryan is your season 1 champion. He finished 117, 88, and 3 across all sports. When picking NFL games, he was 60, 44, and 1 in 2020. Really just kicked my ass on my own show, ladies and gentlemen. I finished with a record of 104, 101, and 4, I think. And in the NFL, I was 54, 45, and 3. So nothing to slouch at. We just got a very good gambler on our hands here. So like I said, I would kill just to go 56% this year. So Ryan, before we get into our NFL picks quickly, shout out to the Oregon Ducks on their way to upsetting the Ohio State Buckeyes in Columbus. Shout out to my younger brother, Jacob, huge Oregon Ducks fan. But yeah, just wanted to mention that. Also, I'm wearing the shirt I wore in the promo, motherfuckers. Look at that. Look at that. All right, Ryan. So what are you looking forward to most about the NFL coming back?
Yeah, I mean, it's just great to be back. I love football. And now that we finally have, full crowds, it adds so much more to it. It feels so much more special. And, I'm just ready to get into it. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Obviously, college has been going on. I love college football, but, the NFL is just, you can't beat it. So I'm glad to be back, and I'm excited for tomorrow.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to be back, too. So, you know what? Actually, we got all the time in the world. You just got home from golf. How about you describe all of your shots from the 18 holes in detail before we get into our picks?
Yeah, so, started off great and didn't finish well, but yeah, so didn't really have time to change, so I'm still in my golf. But it's very patriotic, never forget. Got the American flag on the back. I don't know if you can see that, but
you can.
Never forget. Before we get into it, though, we can mention that. But first, I haven't seen you in forever. I love you. Most listeners know that we have a wedding coming up, so I just wanted to ask live, will you be my groomsman?
Oh, my God. Of course I will. 100% yes. Like, am I hard right now? Yes. I would love
Suit
to
up.
Want to be,
Suit up.
I'm so hype. Oh, this just got so much better. I would absolutely love to be your groomsman, sir. Holy shit. We might have to restart the show. I think this is fuck, man. That's awesome. Yes. 100%, 1,000, a million times. Yes.
Hell yeah.
My God. We already have a comment. Look, it's from your fiance there. Yay. I will be there next to you, probably hammered, but it'll be a great time.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's about time. It is about time to get into our picks for this weekend. So the NFL is back. and it feels so goddamn good. Thursday night football. It's Saturday now, so two nights ago was an awesome game. What a way to kick off the year with the Bucks and the Cowboys. Dak throwing for over 400 yards. He looks like he's back, front runner for comeback player of the year, just one game in. And in Tampa Bay, all 22 starters returned for them, but they did not look like a finished product. But I mean, nobody is supposed to look like that week one. So we go there. Speaking of that, Brew Boy 1-0 on the year. Check out his primetime pick coming tomorrow night for Sunday Night Football. The Bears and the Rams. Ryan, we do not have to talk about that. So yeah, fuck it. I keep teasing it. We're getting into our picks. Ryan, you are our season 1 champion. Your first pick. So actually, I guess we should explain it for anybody that is new here. On Maloney's Moneyline, each of us give 8 total picks. So we have a favorite, an underdog that is our Scooby-Doo underdog of the week. We have an over, we have an under, even though life's too short to bet the under. We have our lock of the week. Ryan, you better lock it up. And then we give 3 general picks. Those can be anything. This episode, we are focusing on the NFL. So it is all NFL picks this time around. And then at the end, after we each give our 8 picks, we have 3 prop bets each to give out for the people to follow along for this season. We thought that would be a fun thing to do. Make sure you hit the comments. If you are joining us live, let us know you're here. Let us know if you like our picks, disagree with our picks. If you disagree, we don't care. But we're still going to give them anyways. I want to thank everybody for joining. You can find this. We are live on YouTube, youtube.com/The Brew Party, live on Facebook, facebook.com/The Brew Party podcast. And we are live on Twitter, twitter.com/The Brew Party. Make sure you hit us up. We will be dropping a graphic with all of our picks on it after this episode ends. So let's get into it. Ryan, our 2020 champion of Maloney's Moneyline, your first pick of the 2021 NFL season, your favorite, my friend.
All right, my favorite this week, I'm going the Buffalo Bills -6.5 versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love the Bills. I love Josh Allen. I think they probably win this game by more than a touchdown. So that's going to be my favorite this week. I'm riding the Bills wagon.
Riding the Bills wagon. They are some people's Super Bowl favorites. They are the favorites to win the AFC, currently at -167 odds. If we dive in some of the numbers as far as spread and over-under for this game, if I can scroll down to it here, I spent way too long breaking down these games to not use any of these. So Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Buffalo's getting 6.5 points, like Ryan said. The over-under is currently at 48. Pittsburgh was 10-7 against the spread in 2020. They were 5-3 against the spread on the road in 2020. Those are a couple numbers to look at. Also 4-1 against the spread as underdogs, 3-1 as road dogs in 2020. For Mike Tomlin's career, since 2007, they are 122, 112-6 against the spread. If we go over to Buffalo, 12-7 against the spread last year. One of the best teams in the NFL at covering. I think only Ryan's Miami Dolphins had a better percentage of covering games last year. They are 38, 28-3 against the spread since 2017. That is McDermott's first year at the helm. They are 13-13 against the spread at home since 2018. So I don't love that number, but I'm also going to be riding with you on the Bills there. I think the numbers are on their side, and just the Steelers are going to have a down year this year. Roethlisberger is too old in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They had one of the worst running games in the league last year. They actually did. They were the number 32 rush offense in the league, only 84.4 yards per game, worse in the NFL. Obviously, they got Najee Harris, but they do have a rebuilt offensive line. Shout out to Kendrick Green from Illinois. He is going to be playing center for them. So a lot of question marks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is the smart bet, taking the Buffalo Bills -6.5 at -109. Honestly, I'm surprised that the public is on Pittsburgh here. So if we go to my favorite of the week, I am going with the Seattle Seahawks at the Indianapolis Colts, +100 Saw that, I started salivating. Give me that plus money every single time. And I'll tell you why. Since 2018, that is when Frank Reich took over the Indianapolis Colts, they are 0-3 as home underdogs against the spread. So I am going to look for that trend to continue. A couple other numbers that really, stood out to me. If I can, God damn it, I really need to pull this up before I start talking, don't I, Ryan?
I do think that the Colts will be one of the most disappointing teams this year. I mean, not necessarily that they have a ton of hype around them, but I just don't think they're going to be very good.
I agree with you. Carson Wentz is starting week 1 for the Colts. They were 9-8 against the spread last year, 25-23-5 against the spread since 2018. Like I said, 0-3 as home dogs, 8-9-2 as underdogs as well against since 2017. They did average a hefty 28.2 points per game last year with Phillip Rivers at the helm of the offense. They can put points on the board, but their defense seems maybe even stronger than their offense. The number 2 rush defense in the league last year. I don't know. People are down on Seattle this year. I mean, their defense probably won't be able to stop very many people, but I don't know, -3 on the road, plus 100. I mean, I'll take those odds. They're 102, 85, and 7 against the spread since 2010. That was Pete Carroll's first year. Since 2012, 85, 69, and 6 against the spread. I'm riding those numbers. I'm riding with Russ and Pete Carroll over Frank Reich and Carson Wentz. I think it just comes down to that for me. Let's move on to our Scooby-Doo underdog of the week, Ryan's favorite pick of the week. And I mean, you guys can guess who this is about to be.
My favorite underdog. I'm going fins up the Dolphins plus 3.5 versus the Patriots. I don't think Mac Jones is going to come firing out of the gates and just be the best quarterback in the league. I do think he will be very good, probably in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But, I got to go with my Dolphins week 1. Tua, Jalen Waddle. It's going to be a fun year for the Dolphins, and expect me to pick them probably every week as long as they're covering. So fins up, go with the Dolphins.
Fins up, baby. So they were the best team in the NFL at covering the spread last year. They were 11-5 against the spread at 68.8% of the time. The Dolphins covered the spread, 20-12 against the spread since 2019 when Brian Flores took over. That's a great number right there. 16-9 as underdogs, 8-4 as road dogs. Ryan, we're riding with the fucking Dolphins this weekend and in New England. I mean, the receiver situation, I just really don't trust at all. I think Mac Jones has a chance to be a very, very good quarterback, but I don't think he has the weapons right now.
Exactly.
Do that. And I think Miami is in a position to be a playoff team, and I think a very, very good team in this league. Okay, very, very might be an exaggeration. We'll
take it easy.
We'll put one very on there. I think they could be a good team. They were a top 5 rush defense in the NFL last year. I mean, come on, Ryan. They're your team. What am I talking about? Offensively, they have room to grow. They were the number 20 pass offense. I mean, Tua's really got to prove it this year after, that roller coaster ride with him and Fitzy last year. He now has Jacoby Brissett as his backup. We'll see. So Ryan is taking the Dolphins plus 3.5. I think the Patriots are getting 3.5 because it's in New England. That has to be why. Exactly.
I feel like this will be a good game. It's probably going to be one of the better and closer games of the weekend, but it's going to be a close game, so I'm going to take the Dolphins that are getting the 3.5 points.
Yes, take the points, take the Dolphins. I completely agree. I mean, you do love what New England did on the defensive side of the ball this offseason, bringing guys over like Judon, and obviously they still have Stephon Gilmore back. So, I mean, they have a really good defense. Miami's going to have their hands full there. They do have a good offensive line. They're going to try to pound the rock with Damian Harris. So we'll see. But I love the Dolphins here. That may be a bad thing, though. So my Scooby-Doo underdog of the week. I am taking the Cleveland Brownies plus 5.5 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me tell you why. Everybody thinks of the Chiefs. We think of Patrick Mahomes. We think of Andy Reid, and they're just this machine. They win games. They win games outright. They don't always necessarily cover the spread, though. So last season, they were 8-11 against the spread, 4-6 at home against the spread. That is where this game will be played. They're also 7-10 as favorites, 4-5 as home favorites. I don't love these numbers, man. 14-12 as home favorites since 2018 when Mahomes did take over. That's a decent number there, but I'm going to go back to these. What do I have here? What do I have? Something with Andy Reid I didn't like. Okay, I'm a liar. Whatever. I like the Browns in this game. They were 12-14 on the road since against the spread since 2018, which I don't love that. But I just got a feeling that this game is going to be really close. They were 9-7 as road underdogs since 2018. That's also against the spread. 4-2 last year. On the road when they were underdogs. I just think this game is going to be close. I do think the Chiefs are going to win, but I will take 5.5. I can definitely see Cleveland, with this defensive line, Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. They add Jadeveon Clowney on kind of like a prove it deal. See what you have there. I really love the draft pick, JOK out of Notre Dame. And then Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's got to prove that he's an elite quarterback in this league. You bring back Jarvis Landry. You still have Austin Hooper. You have Odell Beckham Jr. You have the number 3 rushing attack coming back from last year with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So they can hang with Kansas City, and we saw it last year in the playoff game. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns plus 5.5 versus the Kansas City Chiefs for my Scooby-Doo underdog of the week. So now we move on to our overs. Ryan, you're staying in this game for your over.
Yeah, so my over, I'm going to take the Browns in Kansas City over 54.5, minus 110. I think this is also going to be a really great game. I know, the Browns have a really good defense, but I think this is going to be a pretty high-powered offensive game, and I can definitely see at least 55 getting scored in this game. I think it's going to come down to the end, so I think that's an easy number for these two teams to reach. I mean, you just mentioned all the weapons that the Browns have, so I could see them putting up at least 35.
Right. So if we look at the per game numbers real quick for the Browns and the and the Kansas City Chiefs in 2020. So the Browns put up 25.5 points. They allowed 26.2 per game. If you move over to the Chiefs, they put up 29.6 points, essentially 30 if you round up, and then they only allowed 22.6. So 54 is a very feasible number here if these teams play on their averages from last year. Obviously, it's a new year. We've got new personnel, so not everything is going to line up. But, I mean, when it's week 1, you don't really have much to use besides the numbers from last year. Overs are 30, 25-1 in Kansas City games since 2018. If you look over at the Cleveland side, they were 10-8. In Cleveland games in 2020. So that is a number to watch. I like that number, 54.5. For my over, I'm going Green Bay. I'm going New Orleans, over 49. Aaron Rodgers is back. Jameis Winston on the other side. That is what I'll raise you. The former number 1 overall pick, the 30-30 man, the 5,000-yard man. I think he's going to sling it. And I think New Orleans is going to be sneaky good. They're not going to be as good as they were, obviously, with Drew Brees. But I don't want to say there's not too much of a fallout with Jameis Winston. But if he can get right, if Sean Payton can kind of figure him out and mold him the way Sean Payton likes his quarterbacks to be, Jameis Winston could be a pretty damn good quarterback. Green Bay, New Orleans, over 49, minus 112 odds there. Green Bay has some of, I think, more overs in the last sorry, let me search it because this number was pretty crazy. I feel like it was the number 1 in the league. too many notes here, dude. So Green Bay overs were 11-7 last year in 2020. I love that. Overs are 125, 102, and 1 in Green Bay games since 2008. That's the best in the NFL. That 2008, you might ask why. That was the first year that Aaron Rodgers started for the Green Bay Packers. Overs are 64, 50, and 1 in Green Bay road games since 2008. I mean, this is it is a road game for them. It's a neutral site going to be played in Jacksonville because of Hurricane Ida, but I love this. I love this number only being at 49, especially what the Saints have with Alvin Kamara. They still have Michael Thomas on their roster. You can't forget about him, slant boy. But yeah, I mean, I look at these 125 and 102. No other team in the past 13 years has gone over more than the Green Bay Packers. So I'm hammering that this weekend.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot, and I agree. I think Jameis can be a really good quarterback this year. I think he really just needs to become more disciplined and not always have to go for the deep ball and just check it down sometimes, and he can eliminate some of those interceptions. But I feel like he has a bad reputation for being a terrible quarterback just because his interceptions are so high. But I think he is a really good quarterback. He just needs to make the right decisions and be more patient and everything. So, but I like that pick. I was thinking about taking that for my over, but I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it, so I went with the Browns and Chiefs.
Whatever, dude. You weren't feeling it. I get it.
Well, I think last year, the first week, I picked the Green Bay over, and it lost, and I was really upset, so it stuck with me.
No, those stick with you. Those losses stink. I had a few of those when I was looking over, just being like, or it's like even this, through like 2 weeks technically of college football, I already won't touch teams that fucked me all year last year. Like North Carolina, yeah, go fuck yourself. I am not betting on the Tar Heels this year at all. So let's move on to our unders of the week. Life's too short to bet the under, but we do it once a week. Ryan, what do you got for me?
All right. I mean, I hate to do this, but I'm going to go the Bears-Rams under 46.5 at -113. Obviously, I want the Bears to be amazing and a high-powered offense, but I just don't think they're going to score many points this game, especially against this Rams defense. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm not getting my hopes up that Fields is going to come in at any time. I think it's probably going to be Dalton the whole game. And I mean, I don't think it's news to anybody that Dalton's not a great quarterback. He gets the job done occasionally, but yeah, it's going to be a really low-scoring game for the Bears at least. The Rams could put up some points, but I think 46.5 is a good number for this game.
Yeah, you worry about the explosiveness of the Rams offense, but I mean, if you look at the Bears defense in the past few years, it's been pretty stout. They were number 15 team defense, I think number 16 against the run last year. Also, a lot of Chicago games do not go over. Overs are 12-12 in Chicago road games since 2018 when Matt Nagy took over. Overall, 22-28. Since 2018. So I think the under here is a pretty good pick. Only 8 of Chicago's games went over last year for a record of 8-9. So yeah, I think that's a safe bet, especially the Sunday night game. Obviously you never know, and it is also Matt Stafford's first game as an LA Ram. So is he fully accustomed to the offense? Are there going to be any growing pains there, or any nervousness? But I mean, at the same time, the Bears are a team that he knows very well, that he played against quite a bit. So if we look at the per game numbers real quick, just because I like to bring those up when we're talking about the totals, the Bears averaged 23 points and allowed 23 points a game in 2020. The Rams put up 29.3, so essentially 30 points a game, and only allowed 18.9. So if those numbers stay true, it's going to be really damn close. So we will see. I like the pick, though. Chicago and LA under 46.5 on Sunday Night Football. My under, I'm going ATL and Philly because they are two of the worst teams in the NFL, and I just don't trust them. I think so Arthur Smith comes over for Atlanta, brings his system from Tennessee. They likes to throw the ball a lot. Matt Ryan does have weapons in Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts. I actually really like Mike Davis out of the backfield. I think that was a sneaky good addition for them this offseason. But I'm going to take the under here. I don't trust Philly. They looked really, really bad in the preseason. And overs were 7-9 in Philly games in 2020. They got a new head coach. I don't necessarily love Sirianni either. If we look at ATL, I don't know, just two brand new coaching staffs. I think they're going to be trying to feel each other out. They're not very good. I just like the under here. I think 48.5 is just too many points. Overs were 7-9 in ATL games in 2020. They're 51-56 in home games since 2008 when Matt Ryan took over as the starting quarterback, and 114 in ATL games overall since 2008. I'm going to ride with the under here, under 48.5, -112, Atlanta and Philadelphia. We go on to our lock of the week. Ryan, you better lock it up, baby.
Lock it up. All right. I'm going to go with the Chargers money line plus 102. I think this will be a good game. I know a lot of people are on the Washington football team, but I think Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. I think he could honestly compete for the MVP this year. He looked great last year, and now he's coming out of the gate starting. And, I just don't trust the Washington football team. I don't think they're that great of a team. I love Fitzmagic, obviously, but I think this will be one of the better games, and I'm going to take the Chargers money line with that positive money.
What about the football team don't you trust? I mean, they have just an absolutely incredible defense.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they were just incredible last year. They were the number 2 pass defense, number 13 rush defense. Montez Sweat, you got Chase Young on that defensive line. So, and then they upgraded a quarterback with Fitzpatrick, and you got all those young weapons in Gibson and Terry McLaurin. What about the football team don't you like? Or are you just that high on the Chargers?
I mean, I think the Chargers are going to be one of the better teams this year. I guess it's not necessarily that I don't trust the Washington football team. I think it's just going to take a couple games for them to really get going and get in the groove of things. But, no knock on the football team, but I'm high on the Chargers this year. I think they'll be a solid team.
Yeah, I think so many people are. I'm super big on Justin Herbert, obviously coming off that rookie of the year last year, throwing for 4,000 plus yards. I mean, he only gets better, right? He only has to get better. They bring over Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator from the Los Angeles Rams. He's now the Chargers head coach. It's going to be interesting to see. I have this game on my card a little bit later, but you're making me look like a bitch because I took the Chargers plus 1.5, not money line. I might just have to change that up and take money line. But the Chargers were 9-7 against the spread in 2020, 3-2 as road dogs. By the way, I love road dogs. I'm just going to use home dogs and road dogs all year. 5-3 against the spread on the road in 2020. I think those are really good numbers. The defense leaves something to be desired. Number 23 overall team defense, number 9 pass D. They're going to have their hands full. Ryan Fitzpatrick can sling it around. Obviously they're going to have the offensive line is going to have their hands full with that incredible defensive front that they have. They averaged 24 points a game in 2020. I think that's going to bump up this year with Justin Herbert having another year to mature and whatever. And, he's got weapons on the outside. Keenan Allen, he still has Mike Williams. He's got Austin Eckler, who stepped into that number 1 role, who's also really good at catching the ball out of the backfield. The football team, I think they are the favorites in the NFC East. They are my pick to win the NFC East. They were 10-7 against the spread last year, 6-3 against the spread at home. Riverboat Ron, he's going to take chances. He's a gambler. We'll see, but I like the Chargers here. I don't know. When I see the Chargers as underdogs in this game, there's something about me that just wants to jump on that. So I am with you here. Chargers money line at the football team plus 102. That is Ryan's lock it up, lock of the week. My lock of the week is an over. Las Vegas and Baltimore over 50. Minus 112 odds there. Let me tell you why. The Las Vegas overs hit at 80% last year. 80%. They were 12, I think. Excuse me. Sorry. They were 12-3-1. Overs were 12-3-1 in Las Vegas games in 2020. Their defense was atrocious. They didn't really get any better this offseason, so I don't know. I think they're going to have trouble stopping people. Well, you might say, well, Andy, what about the Ravens and everybody tearing their ACLs? Yeah, that's weird. J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL. Then they have Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters on back-to-back plays in practice tear their ACLs. So they did sign Latavius Murray. Is Mark Ingram still around? They still have.
I think he's on the Texans.
Damn. Okay.
I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure he's on the Texans.
So it's like Tyson Williams is going to get a lot of carries. They brought in Latavius Murray. So there are questions at running back. And then obviously it really hurts to lose a cornerback like Marcus Peters who can shut down an entire half of the field. But I just do not trust this Las Vegas defense. They just cannot stop anybody. And, historically, the past 3 years, even if you date back to 2018 when Gruden took over, the Raiders are one of the best teams at hitting overs in the league. Overs are they're 12-9-1 in Las Vegas home games since 2018, 25-21-2 in Las Vegas home games since 2018. So I'm going to ride with that. I mean, you had the number one rush offense. Jesus Christ, Andy, get it together. In Baltimore, coming to town from last year, you still have Lamar Jackson. There are questions at wide receiver, but you'd like to think by year 3 or year 4 for Lamar, it's time to get that kind of stuff figured out. They were the worst pass offense in the NFL. I think they only passed for like 171 yards a game last year, but anytime I see 12-3-1 and overs hitting an 83%, I got to try it week 1. We got to see if that is still a little warm.
Yeah, that's a pretty insane stat.
Standing by the fire, trying to get some heat. Yes. So Las Vegas, Baltimore over 50. -112. That is my lock of the week. So we have our 3 general picks that we each give out, and then we have 3 prop bets, which I'm super excited for us to get to. So Ryan, let's close this one out. Give us your first of 3 general picks.
All right, my first general pick, I'm just going the Jags Texans under 45.5. I know it's kind of a low point total, but yeah, I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence, again, obviously is going to be a great quarterback, most likely going to be the rookie of the year on the offensive side. But, new coach, new quarterback, I think it'll be kind of slow to start. And then the Texans, I think, is it Tyrod Taylor? Is he the starting quarterback?
Yeah,
and then, again,
Tyrod.
like I could – sorry. But, I mean, I could only name their 3 running backs, and they're not great running. I mean, David Johnson, no knock on him. Phillip Lindsay's solid, but they really don't have any superstars on the offensive side. So I think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game. Wouldn't be surprised if it's like 10-3 or something.
They don't have anybody. Like I think they still have Brandon Cooks on the outside. He's actually pretty decent, but I don't know. I don't even know their head coach's name. I know Lovie Smith is their defensive coordinator. Good luck with that, but yeah, Jacksonville, Houston under 45.5 because you don't know what you're getting with Jacksonville either. Obviously, you have Trevor Lawrence who's going to I would assume they want him to sling it, but also at the same time, you have James Robinson there who had a really good year last year. And they could actually pound the rock and take a lot of pressure off of T-Law if they utilize James Robinson like they think they're going to. So if we look at the overs were 8-8 in Jacksonville games in 2020. If we look over at the Houston side, they were also 8-8. So pretty even there, but these are, I would say, pretty different rosters. Maybe not really on the defensive side of the ball for Jacksonville. I mean, losing Joe Schobert hurt a lot. But they were able to bring in Marvin Jones Jr., who I think could have a pretty decent year. Laviska Shenault's looking to take that step up his second year. You also have DJ Chark still there. So, and I also think Jacksonville's going to be playing from behind a lot. So I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. But in this game, I do not trust Houston at all. So I love this under here, under 45.5. That is Ryan's first general pick. I'm staying in this game, and I'm taking the Jaguars -3. I mean, like I said, I don't Tyrod Taylor, Phillip Lindsay, with David Johnson, Brandon Cooks. I don't trust it. They lose J.J. Watt on defense. Whitney Merciless is still there. Shout out to him. He's raw, but I don't know. I mean, Houston was 6-10 against the spread last year, 3-5 at home against the spread in 2020, 4-6 as underdogs. Like, just not a lot of numbers for me to love here. Obviously, Jacksonville go 1-15 last year, but their win was in week 1. So I think they go back-to-back years winning in week 1. They were 7-9 against the spread, 4-4 against the spread on the road. 4-2 against the spread in division games. That's what I'm hanging my hat on, Ryan. I don't love this, but I think it's just hanging there. It's like so hard for me not to bet against the worst team in the NFL. You know what I mean? It's like last year with the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the Texans are kind of a mess right now, and I think the Jags can be a solid team. I don't think they're going to be a contender, obviously, this year, but obviously I'm a Florida Gators fan, so I love Urban Meyer. I think Trevor Lawrence can be a great quarterback. They just finished. They won. They didn't cover, though, so.
Florida didn't cover?
No, I think they won by 18. It was 40-22 or something. Yeah. I know. I thought they were going to cover, too.
As good as I was week 1.
So they won by 22, 42-20, but I think it was 29.5 or something, so.
It was. That's what I had it at.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, I like that pick. I don't think the Houston Texans are going to be
they're going to be
winning any games. I don't know why the Jags are only -3 in this game. So,
oof, I am over on college football picks so far. so far today, after going 12-6-1 last week, of course. So our next pick. This is something fun that I like that you threw this in here. Something we haven't done. Your next general pick.
Yeah, my next general pick. I'm going Diggs over 89.5 receiving yards at -114. My favorite was the Bills. I'm huge on Josh Allen. I know they're going to be a great team this year. And I don't have the stat off the top of my head, but Diggs, his receiving yards prop last year won the majority of the time. And I think he's going to come out hot. He's a great receiver, one of the best in the league. So I think he could easily get 90 this week.
I mean, yeah, he's their number 1 receiver. He had a great year last year. Might be a little hard for him to live up to that completely this year. But yeah, no, I love this. 89.5, over 89.5 receiving yards for Stephon Diggs. Bills versus the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. And you know what? He's on like 4 of my fantasy teams, so I would love for that to happen, right? Yeah. Let's ride with that. So my next general pick is going to be Minnesota and Cincinnati over 47. I also might sprinkle something on Cincinnati +3.5. It's the. Did you hear about the giraffe?
Yeah, R.I.P.
All right, the Burrow, the giraffe at the Baton Rouge Zoo passed away this weekend. That's a revenge game. Immediate money on Cincinnati for the Bengals. So Minnesota is coming to Cincinnati. They are getting 3.5 points. I'm taking the over here, and let me tell you why. Minnesota was one of the best teams in the NFL last year at hitting the over. They overs were 11-5 in Minnesota games in 2020. They're 26-24 since 2018. That's when Kirk Cousins came over from Washington. Not great in Mike Zimmer's tenure since 2014. They're 52-64, but they still have this high-powered offense coming back from last year when they were 11-5. In as far as hitting overs, you have Dalvin Cook back, you have Thielen, you have Jefferson with a year under his belt. Lot to like about the Minnesota offense. They retooled their defensive line. Their secondary still got a few questions as far as I'm concerned, but I do like this over. And if you look at Cincinnati, they have a bunch more weapons. They still have Tyler Boyd. They bring in Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is back. They have Joe Mixon in the backfield. Joe Burrow is healthy. He's going to be there, and that makes a huge difference. Overs were they were 7-8-1 in Cincy games in 2020. So you don't love that, but I just look for that to improve with the people they added on offense. So I'm taking the over Minnesota, Cincinnati, over 47 at -112. We have one more general pick each. Then we're going to get into our props. So let's do that. Ryan, close us out with our picks for week 1.
All right. Last regular general pick. I'm going Broncos -3 versus the New York Giants. I think I'm very, very high on the Broncos defense this year. I think they're going to be great. I think this is kind of a hot seat Vic Fangio year. I think he's really got to show that he can be a head coach besides defensive coordinator. But, I mean, they're bringing back a lot of people. Von Miller should be back. And, yeah, I just think they're going to be a really good defense this year. So I think they might just tear apart Daniel Jones this weekend. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But, I think the Broncos win this game. I trust Teddy Bridgewater. So I know his total for covering games as a starter is absurd. I think it's like 31 and in the teens or something. Like, he's a covering machine. So I'm liking the Broncos -3 this week.
I love that pick as well. They were 9-7 against the spread in 2020, even though they were not that great of a team. 5-3 on the road. They're 18-4 against the spread during Fangio's tenure. They add, like you mentioned, that defense. You have Von Miller back. You add a guy like Kyle Fuller on the outside that already knows Fangio's system. Oh my gosh, they are going to be good, or they kind of have to be good. Or like you said, Fangio's on the hot seat. We all know how quickly people's their coaches' time runs out in the NFL. So the Broncos -3 versus the New York Giants. I got some Giants fans. They're going to hate to hear that, but I fucking love it, Ryan. I absolutely love it. The Giants were... Oops, I totally forgot to write down a bunch of Giants stuff. That's awkward. But I like the Broncos here. 5-3 against the spread on the road in 2020. I'm rooting for the Broncos here with Ryan. Sorry, Sam, Tom, and Hank. But let's go Broncos. So I will close out our general picks here. I teased it earlier. Chargers +1.5 at the Washington football team. -112. I really like what the Chargers have going this year. I think Justin Herbert is poised to take a step forward. He's got Keenan Allen on the outside, like I mentioned earlier, and you have Brandon Staley, the defensive-minded head coach, who has a chance to actually really improve this defense of the Chargers. So if we pull up some defensive numbers that I wanted to bring up, because they weren't the best for LA last year. Team defense. They were the number 9 pass defense, so I'll eat my words there. Pretty decent anytime you can be top 10. Number 18 rush defense, average allowing about 120 yards per game. Probably going to have to bring that down a little bit. If you have Derwin James and he can play a full season, going to be huge for the Chargers. I know everybody is on the Chargers this year, but I think they start off the year with a win on the road at the football team. +1.5. Take the money line too. Like Ryan said, but they were 9-7 against the spread in 2020, 3-2 as road dogs as well, 5-3 on the road overall in 2020. I think Herbert and the Chargers are poised for a great year, and I think they started off with a big win over the football team in Washington on Sunday. So those are our 16 total picks for week 1. Your 16 winners guaranteed to make you some money. Wink, wink, Ryan. So speaking of making us money, let's get some futures. Let's get our prop bets on. We each have 3, so I'll let you start with your first one and tell me why you are all over it.
All right, first one. I'm just going with the Super Bowl winner. I'm taking the Buffalo
Oops.
Bills to win the Super Bowl, and it's at plus 1100. I'm so big on this one because I mean, obviously, a safe play is the Chiefs or the Bucks. We know that those are two teams that can very likely win it, but we've seen it last year. The Buffalo Bills are a great team. Defense is really solid, and I think plus 1100 now is a great time to get that at versus down the road when they go 12-5 or 13-4 and it's like plus 200 or plus 300 or something. So, I mean, it's great odds. So maybe just sprinkle a little bit on that. And it's, Buffalo Bills are a great, fun team to root for. So
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. They are
absolutely.
so fun to root for. So fun, especially now they have the best backup in the NFL in Mitchell Trubisky. So, I love that. I'm going to be riding with that. I'm going to throw a couple dollars down on the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Plus 1100. I think that's great fucking odds. Sticking with the Bills theme for my first prop, Josh Allen to win the MVP. Plus 800. I will take that any day of the week. He is primed and poised for another huge year. I think he is going to have to improvise less and less. I think we're going to see less of him kind of scrambling out of the pocket, running for his life, making better decisions, making better throws. And that in turn leads to even more yards. That in turn, can we see like 4,500 plus yards from Josh Allen this year? I think so. 40 touchdowns. I think it's possible. Josh Allen to win the NFL MVP. Love it. We're huge on the Bills on Maloney's money line, apparently. So let's move on to our next two props. This one I like, Ryan. I hope to God it happens. Let us know what you got.
Yeah, so I mean, this was kind of just a fandom pick, but I'm taking the Chicago Bears over 7.5 wins at plus 103. Honestly, anything can happen this year. We could win 5 games, or we could, just get lucky like we did last year and win some big games. I mean, we beat the Bucks Thursday Night Football last year, but I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on how quickly Fields gets in there. I don't think we're going to be winning very many games with Andy Dalton. I know they paid the man. They want to start him. They told me he's a starter, blah, blah, blah. But just throw Fields in there. He's a very nice guy, but give the fans what they want. Give Fields what he wants. He wants to start. He's ready. Obviously, he's not going to come out and be the MVP as a rookie, but I think he's ready. And, I mean, why not? He needs experience. He needs to get out there. He needs to experience it. So I think that's the only way we can get this. I think we can win 8, 9, maybe – maybe 10. We'll see. Probably 8 or 9 games, but I'm going to take the over 7.5 for the Bears. We're going to play the Lions 2 times, and I think they might be the worst team in the league. So we'll see, but I'm taking that.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I feel like it's a toss-up between Houston and Detroit for who's going to finish. Who is going to finish last? But I think I predicted on a couple different shows I've appeared on that the Bears would win 9 games. So I guess I have to take the over 7.5. Don't hate those odds either. So if we go on to my next one, Darren Waller over 1,050.5 yards, minus 112. I mean, I think this is a lock. Like, he's proved to be a top 3 to top 5 tight end in the NFL. He is one of Derek Carr's favorite targets, if not the favorite target. He went over 1,000 last year. I think he's a lock to do it again this year. Darren Waller of the Las Vegas Raiders, over 1,050.5 yards, minus 112. I think his touchdown prop is like over 7 or over 7.5, which actually I kind of like that too. Because, I mean, I feel like he's just going to be the focal point of this Raiders offense when they're not trying to run with Josh Jacobs, or sneaky good addition for them, Kenyon Drake. I mean, he's probably going to take a couple carries away from Jacobs, but they could have a nice little 2-headed monster there in the backfield in Las Vegas. So those are 2 of our 3 prop bets. Ryan, I'll let you close it out, or I'll let you do this one, and then I will close it out.
All right, so last prop bet, I'm going to take the Rams to win the NFC West plus 200. I think this division is probably going to be the closest division. I don't think there's any really team in this division that's just a clear favorite. I think it's anybody's to win. I love the Rams defense. I've always been a big Matthew Stafford guy. I think he's going to fit well with the Rams. I think Sean McVay is going to do a great job with him. And I think it might come down to them and maybe the 49ers, depending how Trey Lance ends up being. But I like the Rams to win the NFC West.
Nice. They are getting plus 200. I've seen a lot of people really high on the 49ers this year, but I mean, obviously LA is going all in when they go try to acquire a guy like Matt Stafford. I mean, they're paying Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey a shitload of money. Robert Woods, a lot of people are really high on him. I'm high on Cooper Kupp this year. I think he's going to have an even better season than Robert Woods. But yes, I cannot disagree with you. I think LA is one of the favorites to win the NFC West. I have a similar bet here, but I am going to the AFC North and the Cleveland Brownies to win the North. Plus 140. I think it's going to be a dogfight with them in Baltimore. I talked earlier about the guys that Baltimore has lost already. I think it's really going to hurt them as far as the rushing attack goes. I mean, we know how good their rushing attack is, though. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier, the number one rush offense in the NFL in 2020. Obviously, you still have Lamar Jackson there. They bring in, I think it was Sammy Watkins. They have Marquise Brown on the outside as well. Mark Andrews, they just locked him up. I think they made him the third highest paid tight end in the NFL. There are weapons there. I think Baltimore has a chance to be very good, but I think this is a big prove-it year for Cleveland. I think Myles Garrett is going to be, I think he's going to lead the league in sacks, and I think it's going to be a very good year. So I'm taking the Cleveland Browns to win the AFC North. Me too, Nick. I already did. So those are our prop bets to close out the week one show. It's so goddamn good to be back, Ryan. It is so goddamn good to be back. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here for week one of the NFL?
Yeah, I'm just, like you said, it's so good to be back. I love doing this. I love football, and you can smell it in the air. You walk outside in the morning, that crisp fall air, it's football season. So let's go get some winners. I'm ready to roll.
Winners. Ready to roll. Ryan Maloney joins the Brew Party for Maloney's Moneyline. This was the season 2 premiere, giving you the best picks for NFL week 1, giving you our best prop bets to follow along for this season. I think those will be really fun to kind of keep updated with as the year goes along. We're hoping for a 16-0 week here for week 1. We are gonna keep adding to the records like overall, but we are starting new. I will have a 2021 record for us to keep track of, so we can keep track of our season 2 champ after Ryan was our season 1. Mr. Maloney, it's always a pleasure. This has been the Brew Party Podcast, episode 74, with the one and only Ryan Maloney for Maloney's Moneyline. Make sure you check us out wherever you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. Just search the Brew Party. If that's too many words, just go to www.thebrewparty.com. It's got links to listen to all of our episodes. It's got links to it's got links to all of our social media. There's different ways you can support the show. If you'd like to support the show, you can find our merch. It is bonfire.com/thebrewparty, bonfire.com/brand-new-brew-party-merch. That's too many words. Just go to our Twitter, twitter.com/thebrewparty. It is our pinned tweet. Speaking of Twitter, go ahead and give us a follow. Give us a follow on Instagram at The Brew Party. You can like and subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/The Brew Party. And we're on Facebook as well at The Brew Party Podcast. If you would like to donate to the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/The Brew Party. You can buy us a beer and we will chug one for you live on air. live on air. Ryan, I love you so much, my brother. I'm so excited to be one of your groomsmen. That was incredible content live on air. I will get these graphics put out. This audio will be going out later if you would rather just listen. Check us out on YouTube if you want to watch the replay. We will be here all season long. We're going to bring on guests, special guest pickers. Like I said, we'll be keeping track of records. We'll be keeping track of units, seeing who is up, who's down. Hopefully both of us are up. Hopefully we're bringing winners, getting money all year. Maloney's Moneyline Season 2. It just feels amazing to be back. It feels amazing that it's football season. Also, going to tease this. At some point during the year, you will get a live and in-person Maloney's Moneyline with me and Ryan. We got the setup. Just need another mic and probably a better camera for the both of us. And we will be, oh God, we're just doing it so big this year. I'm so fucking excited.
Going big.
We're going big, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off with the best or worst picks on the internet, whatever. But we're here. Maloney's Moneyline, week number 1. I'm rambling. We need to get the hell out of here. The Brew Party Podcast, episode number 74, featuring Ryan Maloney. We are out of here.